You don't give a fuck when you land or not, just let him go. Don't worry about it, you're gonna be a shitty fight, but you gotta let punches go. Last round. You can't wait until they get, if you miss it, bang, go right back. And don't take 30 seconds to start another fight.
Alexander, I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody like me. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Nairport, there's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable. Look at that! Look at that combination! And the turn.
I kept telling you he had no punch, he couldn't hit, he's swinging like a sissy, he's missing. Let me see your box. I hadn't started damping yet. A tremendous motivational first round, and Hearns gets hurt. Hearns got stunned. Pacquiao was stunned early in the round. Great first round. Incredible. Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
That black guy, he hits hard.
Fire!
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Hands of Fire Boxing Talk. I'm your host, George Dampierre, writer and reporter for RealCombatMedia.com, and my co-host.
What's up, man? It's Daoud, man. 215, you already know what it is, man. I'm here to talk some boxing.
And today's show, we will be talking about the big fight that hasn't been that hyped up this weekend, or not this weekend, but hasn't been hyped up that much at all. Which is
title fight.
Manny Pacquiao will be taking on Jesse Vargas, the WBO welterweight champion, and basically doing a preview breakdown and all the good stuff go along with fight weekend festivities and final press conferences and all that. Also, we'll be talking about the HBO special that was aired this past Saturday, My Fight, Ward Kovalev, and basically just a little discussion on what we thought about it and what we learned at it. And also we'll be talking about Oscar De La Hoya and debunking his claim that 2016 is the worst in boxing history. And before we start the topic of Manny Pacquiao, the longer I looked at the topic regarding De La Hoya, I'll give him a little bit of credence in what he's talking about. But, of course, that's what we'll be talking about later on in the podcast. So let's just jump right into Manny Pacquiao and Jesse Vargas because we got a lot to talk about through this podcast. I've been pretty excited to even talk about these topics because we took a little break for the past week, but we're here now, and after what was pretty much a dark age of boxing, which is a real stagnant month, and kind of goes to what maybe Oscar De La Hoya was talking about with it being the worst year, but there were pretty much no fights during the month of October. So now we are in the swing of November with some huge fights. The first one up here is Manny Pacquiao taking on Jesse Vargas, who let's just talk about the elephant that's in the room before we go into the breakdown of the actual fight.
Okay.
And that is the broadcast of this event, which was turned down by HBO. Word was it was chosen over, or the fight that was chosen over for HBO was Canelo versus Smith, and it was that was a huge slap in the face for Bob Arum, and having him once again pay for another pay-per-view out of his pocket and with another broadcast company, which I believe was ESPN sponsored, and another top-rank aired special as well. So, but basically what we're getting at here is the loyalty check on HBO here with Manny Pacquiao. Clearly both headline fighters are fighting a lower-ranked opposition, clearly not their equal, but with here your consistent number one guy that held up all your top numbers, and they chose
Fighter of the decade.
Fighter of the Decade, and they chose,
He was in the highest grossing pay-per-view ever. He made them a part of that because of Manny. It was because of Manny and Bob that were a part of HBO.
And do you think that maybe it was HBO made the right move, maybe by thinking, to go along with the future and maybe just be completely done with Manny Pacquiao?
Well, I look into numbers only when it concerns a fight not happening or something like that. So I'm not sure on how much Manny was generating and how much they were actually losing, putting on the fight for Manny, or if they were going to lose at all. For all I know, they were probably going to break even or only make a little bit of profit and didn't think it was worth it. But I could be wrong, and maybe they was going to take a bath on it, and that's why they didn't want to deal with it. Maybe it's because Manny Pacquiao gets paid a lot of money, and if you're going to pay a lot of money, you don't want a fight with Jesse Vargas, whether he's a champion or not. Maybe that's the way they look at it, but overall, when you look at Manny Pacquiao's career and all of the great things he's done, all of the great fights he put on, whether he was at catchweights or not or whatever, a majority of that, once he got here, that it was on HBO. They made a lot of money off of Manny Pacquiao. HBO and Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum all together, they made a lot of money together. You look at it, it's like, damn, HBO just, cut him. You know what I mean? It's like, you guys couldn't put on Manny's last hurrah or whatever, but I don't know. I guess there's no loyalty in business. So if the bottom line was they wasn't going to make no money off of it, then it wasn't worth it to them. But I think this affects boxing because, I think that Bob Arum didn't really take that, too good. He doesn't like it. And what it seems as though may wind up happening is he may wind up just dealing with Showtime. And that'll put him, right there on the same network with Al Heyman and the PBC stable. And in recent interviews, Bob Arum has been saying, he's open to work with those guys and they ready to work. So we get to see the top-ranked fighters, fight the PBC guys. That's great. That's great for guys like Jesse Vargas because now him or Tim Bradley, they can fight Keith Thurmans and these guys, and there's no problem. They're on the same network,
And it's only going to make HBO want to pull their hair out once they see Top Rank and Arum working together.
K2 and Golden Boy, because you decided to roll with Golovkin and Canelo, basically. That's where they basically drew their line in the same. That's what they wanted to do.
So I think it's clear to say that me and you both agree that the fact that their HBO kind of, did Manny Pacquiao wrong by not airing this. Boy, or maybe it was just or how coy would it be that when they were airing that saying this is going to be Manny Pacquiao's last fight on HBO. Right. Maybe there's just something they knew the whole time, and how crazy would that some shit like that would be? It'd be some conniving shit right there, man.
The thing about Manny was the way they built him up. It was like he was the anti-Floyd, and he was the Tasmanian devil that was going to take Floyd out. Once that was uncovered and it didn't go that way, a lot of the people, they weren't buying no more. It was just the diehards. You know what I'm saying? And it was a significant drop in dollars. So, HBO's looking at it, you know what I'm saying? It's dollars. So, if it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense.
All right. Let's just talk about... Right, yeah, I know. To try to not end it on so much of a downer, but real shit, man. But anyway, about this fight, man, let's just go down the tail of the tape. And if you've seen the press conference today, man, the height difference, truly evident there. But the 10-year age difference. Manny Pacquiao 37, Vargas 27. Manny Pacquiao, like I said, 5'5", Vargas 5'10". Very clear. And
Man, used to that.
what was that?
Man, used to that.
Yeah,
Jerry was tall.
you're right. That's true.
Jerry was tall.
Margarito was tall. De La Hoya was tall.
Yeah, Margarito was right. People be tall. That would be the man.
So I mean, you're pretty much getting into what the breakdown is, but I mean, let me at least finish the tale of the tape, man.
I'm sorry.
Damn, all right, shit.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But reach for Manny Pacquiao, 67-inch, Vargas 71, which is surprisingly a little bit shorter than I expected for being how tall he is. But of course, the clear differential here. Manny Pacquiao with 38 KOs, Vargas with 10 KOs, which is, I guess, how we should just jump into the breakdown here. The offensive and defensive advantage fighter here. And I think that was part of the plan here, obviously, was to pick a light champion, which how the comparison with the Canelo and Smith fight for HBO to choose were kind of similar in a way, but it was really more or less where their loyalty lay. Because again, this was a light champion pick where they could, hype up on. And
it's the WBO belt, and for some reason, Top Ranking have always got the WBO belt. So when you look at it, you got Jesse Vargas right there, and then it's Manny Pacquiao. What belt is Manny Pacquiao when you think about it? Which one he usually got? There you go. Because you know which ones Floyd has, so we ain't got to go there. You know what's up. It's that WBO belt. That's what it is.
You're right.
Tim Bradley, all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's enough conversation though.
But so obviously we I think it's needless to say that Manny Pacquiao has the offensive advantage here. Is there anything that you see in Jesse Vargas offensively that he can do to maybe give himself more than just a puncher's chance? Because it seems like that's what if what his merit is into this fight is that he hurt Timothy Bradley in the last 10 seconds of the 12th round, then he's going to need to have a little something more to bring to the table than that. So, I mean, what do you see within him that he can do to maybe execute something to at least give Manny Pacquiao something to think about for a while, something to hold him afloat?
Well, Jesse can he can crack a little bit, so I mean, you always gonna have something to think about. It's boxing, you know what I mean? But I don't really see, like, when I look at Jesse box and the way he box, got it's like a strong jab, but it's not quick. And Manny has head movement and foot movement. Like he moves around. You know what I'm saying? Manny he has I call it scatter feet. And it's kind of busy. He's moving around. He's like a little bumblebee. And Jesse is he's not the fastest. So even though it's not the old Manny Pacquiao, it's I see Manny slipping and still throwing them quick combinations on him.
Turning them.
Yeah. Manny, cause Manny can box a little bit more than what people be saying.
Yeah, he has his way of boxing.
Yeah, cause it's not it's not American slickness boxing, but it's it is some science to it, especially after the knockout. He's more scientific.
And that's part of what Algeria explained in their post fight, was saying that Manny Pacquiao has mastered the way of fighting like Manny Pacquiao.
Right. That's the best way you could put it.
Pretty much.
And that's exactly how you would want to put him. And I like Jesse, but I don't really see nothing Jesse gonna do that's like, okay, he's gonna whip Pacquiao. Maybe he can catch Pacquiao with something and then capitalize from there or something like that. But I hadn't seen anything. I'm being honest. And I looked at the Bradley fight and, like, being honest, for real, Bradley was like, Bradley was beat. He was like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you landed a good punch. It was a good punch. Had you got him out of there, that would have been awesome. But, like, that's Bradley. He don't even go out.
And you know what? And to his credit, he did look way better than I thought he would against Saddam Ali.
Yeah.
That's a great win. I'll give him credit for. But nonetheless,
and, you know, because people thought Saddam Ali was one of the next big things.
I actually,
the same thing.
You know, because I definitely did pick him to win that fight.
Yeah.
So.
His mom got beat. It was the same thing with that guy Granados, the guy Broner's won the fight.
Yeah. And that's another one that we'll have to, we definitely have to discuss that next week. Yeah. The Showtime lineup that was announced this past week. So with that being said, I guess it's clear that to say that Jesse Vargas' best chance is to win by KO. So with that being said, let's swap that. Because a lot of talk with Manny Pacquiao in this later stage in his career is, you know, the fact that he hasn't brought a knockout since Cotto, which was 2009. And, you know, part of that awe factor along the rise with Manny Pacquiao was, you know, Freddie Roach being almost some type, taking a little bit credit, taking a little bit of credit for Manny Pacquiao's performances by, you know, claiming a prediction on when they're going to go out. And clearly people don't believe it anymore because he hasn't gotten the knockouts. You know, of course, Freddie Roach always says the knockout. So with that being said, with that really long, drawn-out, I guess, verbiage, what I'm trying to say here is it possible, or is it out of reach to think that Manny Pacquiao can get the KO in this fight?
Well, can he KO Vargas?
Yeah.
I don't think Manny sits down and commits the same way, but he just punch hard because he's a natural puncher. Manny don't gotta be planning and all that for him to have pop. He still gonna hit you hard because that shit just hurt. But like, he doesn't fight the way he used to fight, and I think that has a lot to do with why he ain't knocking people out. I mean, I got other theories on certain things that happened at certain times or whatever with the guy. That's not what I want to talk about today, though. For the most part, though, I think it's like the slight change in how he's boxing. It's changed his style. He didn't really change his style, but he just does it more strategically. And with that, you know, it take away some of like the flurries. They more calculated now, and you know, the surprise is probably what was putting guys out. The boop pop 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 boop pop, and then one of them just comes by. It's like bam, and then you like, you know what I mean? Because that's how Manny do. He speed beat on you and all that. Like it be like flurries, like TKO type stuff.
Hey man, definitely with the punches that you didn't say. He definitely got a lot of knockdowns like that. So I guess to sum it all up, man, how does this play out? You know, for me, I think he'll take him a little bit to try to get over the size advantage, because it has been a little bit since, you know, he hasn't fought a fighter that's named Timothy Bradley, and so I think he'll maybe try to settle in maybe about 3 or 4 rounds, and then I think we'll see a little bit of vintage Manny. You know, some good offensive work, because again,
Jesse being tall and long, he gonna have to get up in Jesse.
And he's gonna have to keep moving, so it's definitely gonna be a boxing effort. So, but him getting comfortable in the later rounds, I think he might be able to actually do a little something. And I think it goes completely, undermentioned about his past performance with Timothy Bradley. I mean, he really turned back the clock in that performance for me. I haven't seen Manny Pacquiao look that good since 2010. So it's saying a lot. He got 2 knockdowns that he couldn't get in the past 2 fights with Timothy Bradley in that fight. And that being said, I think Pacquiao could get a late round knockout. But if I'm gonna play it safe, I'd say he gets the unanimous decision. But I don't think a knockout is really out of question here. How do you see?
It's not out of question. It's not out of question. I don't know how to call it. It's like, it's hard for me to say Manny gonna knock somebody out nowadays because I just ain't seen that Manny in a while. But then it's like, Jesse might go for it. And when you go for it, knockouts can come to a guy that can punch. He can run into it. I could see Jesse trying to hit Manny and Manny going and get up in, slipping, getting up in, and then the frustration. Because when he get up in there, he going to do damage. But the thing about it, Manny don't like to fight inside. Manny like to fight mid-range. Manny don't like to be all the way up under you. He like to be where he could do his you know what I mean? He don't want to get up in there. He just want to get close enough to be able to do his work. But you got to get up a little bit up into Jesse's reach because Jesse got him by about 5 inches. So, and that's height and reach.
So unanimous decision then?
Yeah, definitely. One of them UDs, definitely one of them UDs. If nothing else happened. Jesse could start getting caught and get one of them things. Manny get one of them OG TKOs he used to get.
Hey man, I'm just gonna throw on my Pac-Tard hat on it and just say he gets the knockout in round 9, and just hope for the best.
To sleep?
I think that's the best.
Or TKO?
Man, if he gets him to sleep, man, they're gonna. That'll bring him back. That'll bring Floyd back.
Oh, they're gonna say Floyd ducking the rematch.
Yeah.
I hope he don't.
That'll bring him back.
Feel like that.
That'll bring him back if he do that.
I don't want to go through that.
Man, listen, Pacquiao will set the boxing world on fire with a knockout. Let's just hope he'll. I'm gonna just say, I just want him to do it so bad that I'm just gonna say.
I want him to do it, and then
I'm gonna just go behind the thought that he's gonna do it. I'm just going behind that belief, and I'm holding it true, and it's just gonna get truer by the day. So by fight night, I mean it's only certain, and if it doesn't happen, I'll still pretend it did.
He need to fight. He need to fight Thurman or one of them.
Or Crawford.
Yeah.
But so to move on from the topic, just to mention the undercards here, Nonito Donaire is also featured against Jesse Magdaleno. One of my favorite prospects coming up right now, Oscar Valdez. Fresh off his title win, will be facing Hiroshi Osawa.
I don't know him. He from China?
I believe Korea or Japan.
Korea. Yeah, I ain't mean no disrespect. to the Asian community, but I apologize for just assuming someone's from China because he has an Asian name. No, seriously, because like sometimes people might take that offensive.
Hey man, you're good here. Yeah, listen, I don't think anyone's gonna hunt you down on Twitter or nothing. If you do, you can hold your own. You're good.
Yeah, I'm cool.
You're good.
Yeah, I'll be alright.
So, also, I also wanted to mention who will be making their professional debut. The Brazilian gold medalist from this past Olympics, Robson Conceição. He was one of the true hometown favorites there. Who was one of my favorites too. He along with one of the other Uzbekistan fighters was someone I thought was a true talent true class really out of that entire Olympics. Off the top of the mind, I can't think of the Uzbekistan fighter, but he won the day after Stevenson had been eliminated. But yeah, he's making his professional debut, so good luck to him. Definitely try to keep an eye out for it. He probably won't even be televised, so unfortunately. Yeah. Oh well, good luck to him.
Yeah.
So Ward vs. Kovalev, HBO featured a My Fight special. They didn't do any type of 24/7, so this is basically just their way to, 2 weeks out from the fight, this is their way for you to get personal with the fighters. And it was about a half-hour special, nothing really too long or extended, just and really for the most part not even entirely boxing related. This was just more of a personal story on how they eventually got involved with boxing, basically in all the sidebars of their boxing career, when they finally got put on, and when was their real moment, and who's their role models, and where their first gym started, and all this other stuff. But for me, what I took out of this, man, was I kind of knew in glimpses of what Andre Ward's story was, but after watching this special, I like him a little bit more now watching this. Bit more personable. And I guess it's just a general way that he, carries himself through what he's been through. And I guess it's just easier to understand him as his, through his personality through this. So, that was one thing I took out of that. Another thing I took out of it was, and I was thinking when I was watching it made me think about our conversation before, where you were thinking about how, through that interview between Jim Lampley, Andre Ward, and Sergey Kovalev, where they were ringside. I can't remember what fight. It might have been for the Canelo fight, where you thought that Kovalev was looking a bit more respectful and Andre Ward was looking more angry, like, in a way to have him in check. So with that in mind, when I was watching it, it made me think, and I'm looking at, the way Kovalev really just always carried himself throughout his career and through, even big moments. And, considering what he's been through and just how his attitude is about certain things, it seems like I wouldn't entirely believe that too much anymore. I feel like now, just with how he just handles himself, I'm thinking he's just trying to, it's his way of trying to make himself more seem more relaxed, and I guess try to make that as a way of an intimidation too. How, that's another way to handle it. See, like, hey, like, this is a big moment, so he's feeling that Andre Ward is like, I got to get mean, I got to get in his face, I got to get strike some type of fear or respect out of him, where he's trying to seem more relaxed, laid back, and casual about it. Like, this is just, it's whatever. So that's at least how I see him trying to, at least handling the fight so far. So that's what made me think about that. And the last thing is Kathy Duva, for me, remains a saint. I don't know why she gets so much shit through the boxing world and community, but yeah, she's just such a great lady. She's like, she's like, even just with how they introduced her in the little shot, she's just like not even like sitting all formal and shit. She's like got her shoes off, like crossed out on the on the chair leg and whatnot, chilling, typing. Sweet lady, man. And and if you know her story, of course, I believe HBO, what was it? Jim Lampley's show, Fight Game, did a special on her, with her story and how she ended up even getting into the biz too. So knowing that and how she takes care of her fighters, I don't see why she gets the hate she does. So those are just the things I took out of it. And Kathy Duva, I love her. I really, I mean, I don't know. She's fine for me. I don't get why she gets so much shit. But what did you take out of it?
Well, I definitely was able to understand where both of those guys' fight comes from. I kind of already knew Andre Ward's story, because I'm a big fan, but Kovalev's story, he's from a steel mill town, he used to rob people and all that, what I'm saying? So he's like a rough dude, you know what I'm saying? Step pop died, forced him to have to grow up. One thing about it was that I noticed about him that allowed me to be able to appreciate him was he left Russia and went to Kazakhstan because he felt as though they was holding him back, and he went from there and came to the United States and he was fighting for peanuts basically, and just went hard until he got his opportunity, and Kathy put him on the undercard, so he earned his way up the hard way, you know what I'm saying? So but due to some of the things he said, I feel he feels a certain type of way, racism and things like that. So I'm not necessarily a fan, but I could respect his journey and his skill and what he's bringing to this fight. And, I lean towards Dre, but he's a good fighter.
And you're referring to the Twitter picture of, I guess his nephew was wearing the shirt with the monkey.
Yeah, right.
So again, that's a topic for another day that we can get on to. But yeah, I mean, for what this fight is, man, and what this month is, it's pretty damn good, man. The weight of this fight isn't equated with the hype that it has, and for the most part, I hope all the boxing fans buy this fight and not stream it.
I'm gonna buy that, Joe.
This is definitely the fight to buy, and
I'm gonna support Ward. I'm buying that, Joe.
Got to, and that kind of leads me into this last topic. We mentioned the Pacquiao fight that'll be happening this weekend. The Ward Kovalev fight that'll be happening in 2 weeks. There's there's another fight I'm missing. I can't think off the top of my head right now. But definitely a loaded month for fights. And here we have Oscar De La Hoya talking to Yahoo Sports. calling 2016 the worst in boxing history, and calling it a very disappointing year, obviously. I want to put it into terms for the listeners that are listening here, he's referring to boxing being the worst is not only just as the fights that are being put on, but also in the way that the fighters are being promoted. So he's kind of taking the sideline narrative, almost as if he's not part of it, which is kind of strange when you read this article here. But one of the main quotes I wanted to take out of this, which definitely raised my eyebrows reading, was this one here. I'll be honest, you don't see fighters being promoted like we gotten used to seeing. Now, we've talked before, and I've also mentioned on the podcast before, I don't think with you on it, but I mentioned the marination process, right, or the excuse, should I say, right, that has more recently from Oscar that's been abused as a way of saying that, because basically within the breakdown is they're saying that the fight is not ready because it's not at its potential grossing right, power, financially, right. So in order for that to happen, the fighter's got to get bigger. So with I guess just by generic terms, that's just a fighter to keep fighting and keep winning. Mm-hmm. The other way to look at it is put your fighter out there in the media. Promote your fighter. Right. Right. Put him on TV. Right. Get his name out there. He can look good against. Get him on some commercials. Mm-hmm. So the fact that he mentioned that he mentioned the fighters not being promoted like they used to, because I remember I remember actually informing you about this article, and you were going to give him a pass slightly. But then I told you the narrative that he was coming at us with was as far as the promoter sense. Because we were thinking at first that, well, when you think about networks, then yeah, you're probably right. HBO, I mentioned earlier that they haven't been putting out much fights, and showing a bit of disinterest in boxing, in HBO boxing for the future. Showtime really hasn't shown anything more than Next Generation, and PBC doesn't have anything lined up for the next year for a couple of months. I think they don't have anything set up in January at all.
No, I know. Well, I know we got the Danny Garcia Keith Thurman unification bout.
That's in December, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That's not in December because Danny's fighting in 2 weeks here. He fights here in 2 weeks. That's next March. It's in March.
Okay.
They already did it. It's already done. This fight that Danny's fighting is not even for the title.
Well, anyway, that's I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, along with that, you did have good fights that took place.
Right.
Salito Vargas. Did he forget his own fucking fighter took place in a really good fight this year?
Frampton,
Santa Cruz. Thurman Porter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the rest of November.
Postal Crawford.
You know?
Right.
Then there's the rest of November. Yeah, there's Postal Crawford. I mean, come on. Like, what? He's coming at it through a very, yeah, it's almost like one of those people who think that they're being a realist, but they're really just being a, just negative person. It's like they don't take any type of accountability to the situation.
I think
And
it's
it
because
seems-
he didn't have too much to do with anything big that did happen in 2016.
Funny enough that you mentioned that, my friend, because you know who did respond to that particular statement from De La Hoya was his good old friend Bob Arum, who said that the reason that the year was terrible was because Canelo didn't fight Triple G. Great trolling action by the OG.
OG Bobby got OG Bobby Johnson.
Comes through to save the day to pretty much what everyone else was thinking. Because, I mean, real rap, man, Oscar is only he's what makes me like the most upset about this. It's like not like I get it, he typically says some trolling comments. Like another one that he mentioned was saying that Golovkin is running away from Canelo. That was another one that he mentioned earlier this week. So I know he's gonna say trolling shit, but don't say that. Like say this from a narrative as if you're not part of this. Like you, like you're just a fan. Like damn man, like we ain't getting no fights, man.
Yeah,
Like nigga, you there?
Two of the biggest culprits.
It's like you right there. You are part of this.
Right, and we in the climate where Bob Arum is trying to put on big fights.
Yeah.
Al
Man.
Hammond is trying to put on big fights. Look what they've been doing.
Listen, man, the unity way is to go. So if he still wants to hold on to the beat, he's gonna find himself really locked out of pretty much boxing promotion. Especially with Schaefer coming back, he is gonna be blackballed. So he better get his act together right now. He better be. And this is why I say again that he also needs Golovkin. Because in reality, that could probably be the biggest fight he'll have the rest of his career.
If things don't change.
That being said, I guess we're gonna wrap things up, right? I think we've been going in for a while. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna bring out my old Pac-Man ways, Pac-Tard fan ways. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm hoping he gets the knockout, and I'm hoping to saying I told you so next week.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead on and buy this pay-per-view and support Manny.
That's what's up.
Cause I just can't help myself.
And plus, man,
I don't like what HBO did to him, so I'm gonna support him real fast.
and also I just want to see Stephen A. Smith commentate a fight. I want to see how that plays out.
I didn't even know he was commentating this.
Yeah, man, he's part of the broadcast team. Color commentator at that.
Stephen A. don't know shit about boxing. All he know is hard work and dedication and TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what? I like it though. I like that.
I like Stephen A. though. I like him. I like him.
I like that he's doing it. I like that he's venturing out, trying some new stuff. Cause you know what I respect most about Stephen A. Smith, even though he won't tell you that he knows the most. But what's clearly evident about him is that he's definitely a fan.
Yeah.
He's a casual, but he's a fan. He's definitely a fan of the sport. So
He's
this
been
is
learning
just
lately, and now
especially
he's around Max.
Yep. So that's
So-
definitely sparked it.
You can learn some more.
So, yeah, man, shout out any type of social media tags you want to put out before we get up out of here.
Oh, man, yeah, no, I just want to shout out my kids at the boxing club, King's Hudson Boxing Gym, Southwest Philadelphia, on Greenway, on King's Hudson, between King's Hudson and Greenway, 51st Street. So just shout out to them, and shout out to Elite Boxing and Ring IQ on Facebook.
Ring IQ.
And that's just it, man. That's all I gotta say, man. You know, just tune in to Manny Pacquiao this weekend, man.
Yeah, man, everybody get up out your pockets and pay for this. Show the man some respect. Alright? Damn. Alright, other than that, you guys know my social media. G.Alé 6 on Instagram, G.Alé Dampier on Facebook, at Georgie Dampier on Twitter, and Georgie Dampier on YouTube, which you'll probably already know that because that's the only way you have found this podcast. So, that being said, I'm out. Keep your hands up. Peace.